Hey, what is going on? Hopefully, you guys are having a fabulous Monday today. Now, I'm feeling pretty good. I thought I would be way worse off than what I am, so I'm really excited for that. Still, definitely not exercise. I'm just going to walk around, do small stuff like that to where I don't overdo it. So I'm ready and ripping and roaring for our kettlebell course that's coming up on April 2nd. So if you have not RSVP to that, please do. It's going to be sick. I haven't done something like this in a really long time. Kettlebell is like my favorite implement to use in general when it comes to fitness. It's my favorite, and so it's the best tool you can get for the dollar spent. It's awesome. Now it's just I recommend all workouts with bands because we got people who travel at home and want to work out at home or at a gym, and bands can show you all the things. Kettlebells can do anything that any other movement, any other dumbbell, band, whatever can do, and most of the time do it better. It just requires a little bit of skill, which is why I have you guys come into the course so we can go over how to do that, which is sweet. So, anyways, with all of that being said, let's get after it. Today is what if life was like this for you? And this actually stemmed from me yesterday thinking. I had a really interesting thought while I was driving, and I wanted to share it because I keep seeing reoccurring themes with you guys, and I want to make sure we can nip some of them in the bud so we don't have these problems anymore. Man, this stinks. Okay, so with that being said, write your 3 wins down below, and of course, as always, make sure you put hashtag live if you are live, hashtag replay if you're watching the replay, so that way I'm all clear who's paying attention to the videos. Okay, a lot of people, I don't know what's going on with Facebook or whatever. A lot of you guys didn't know we didn't have a workout on Saturday. I've been talking about it for a while. Last couple trainings, I said we didn't have a workout. So I don't know if Facebook's just not showing my stuff or not. I'm working on something right now, not have that problem anymore. It just takes a while because I'm a fitness dude, not a tech guy. So let's write your 3 wins for the week. Up here, not for the day, excuse me, for last week, the 3 wins. Mine was number 1, took it easy. Hung out. Number 2, got to play some video games. I haven't been able to play games for a while. I really, really enjoyed that. And number 3 is that I got all check-ins done early and on time. Cha-ching, which is sick. So with that being said, let's get after it. Okay, we got Save Our Allies. They're still helping out people in Ukraine currently with getting them home, getting them away from their situation, putting them in homes. Company just distributed, I don't know how many body armors to their people so they can go into the war zone and actually help people. But yeah, still donating diapers and shoes and things. So any and all introductions are appreciated. We got 2 last week so far, 3 last week actually. So we're getting after it, kicking butt, taking names. Would love some more to help out these guys and to help serve people here to get them results, which is always the best. Okay, now along with the training, the world is a playground. Somewhere along the way, everyone forgets it. Okay, and this is so true. This actually stemmed a little bit from a drive yesterday, and I swear, bomb alone, I just think it's maybe the most interesting stuff. I tell my wife, and she's like, "Chris, that you think a lot," and I get it, I guess. So here's what I was thinking. Genuinely, I was listening to a training for another program that I'm in. And I started just sitting there while I was driving, and it was just blowing my mind because all we are is atoms, right? We're all just atoms, molecules. That's it. All of us, okay? We're attached to something, like whatever it is. Whatever it is we're attached to is interesting because if we're all atoms and we all have some sort of magnetism of some kind, right? Why does this not just immediately attach to my hand and become part of my hand, right? How can I set it down? But also, how can my body stay on me? It blows my mind because if all we are is atoms are 98% empty, how is it attached to stuff? How do we see doors? And how do we not fall through things? And how are we not just flying in the middle of space? I have no idea. It blows my mind. The only thing I can think of is because we're attached by some spirit, some sort of entity of some kind, but not to get religious, but I'm saying, how is it possible that this part of my hand here is staying right here without something way smarter than me telling it to stay here? Because all it is emptiness. It's nothing more than empty. My hands don't even touch. It looks like they touch, but if we zoomed in really, really, really tight, they're like pushing against each other. Magnetism, they're not actually touching. As hard as I want to push, they're not actually touching, which is wild to me. It's just so insane. But why is it that the ones next to them can touch, but these two cannot, or at least appear like they touch? Why do they stay there and not jump across? It's wild. But while I was sitting there thinking these things, I started thinking too that a lot of people are playing this game in life in not a playground way. Not that this is like a way for us, a place for us to learn some things, to have some fun, to expand apart who the heck we're supposed to be, why we're here, what we're doing, and we get lost in that mix. And I started likening it a little bit to basketball. Now, I know some of you guys probably don't like basketball, understand basketball, whatever, but basketball was my number one sport for a really, really long time until I stopped growing, and then I just couldn't keep up. But I love basketball. Favorite team's the Jazz. I know a lot about it. One day I hope to coach basketball because I really love the sport. But I remember, as a kid, I would sit there and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot for hours, just trying to get better at shooting. So I want you to be put in little Chris, 7 years old, Chris's body. Okay, and let's say too, they were at the basketball hoop. Okay, we're at the park. We're in a double rim basketball we got the sweatbands on, the jersey. We're in it to play some basketball. And let's say for whatever reason in this little scenario, we had to shoot 2,560 shots, meaning all of these dots equal that much. Okay, and let's say we colored them black if we made it, or red if we missed it. Okay, we sat there and shot, over and over and over again. Just kept shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting. Okay, how, while you're shooting, how could you miss a shot? Like, what would make it possible for you to miss a shot? Put that in the comments below. How could you miss a shot? I'm going to give you some examples, but I need some participation in here because I want to make sure we are all clear and we're all on the same page. How could it be possible for you to miss a shot? Well, one way is the wind. The wind takes the ball and makes it fly away, right? You shoot the ball, big old gust comes and it changes the trajectory of your shot, right? Especially outside. Number two, maybe, is that you push it too hard. So it goes over the basketball hoop. Maybe you don't push it enough to where it airballs. Maybe you're trying to hit the backboard and you hit too high on the backboard, hits off the front of the rim and falls out. Okay, there's plenty of other ways, right? Maybe, it's a double rim and the rim is loose too. And so because the rim is loose, there's more bounce when you hit the rim that it flies off. Okay, whatever it might be, there's millions of ways to miss a shot, right? Millions of ways to miss a shot. And so sometimes, if you miss or when you miss a shot, there's always a solution to why you missed it, right? When you shoot a shot, there's one of, I don't know how many different possibilities of it happening, but there's a finite amount, right? There's not an infinite amount. There's not oh my gosh, there's so many, I couldn't even think. You can't even put on paper how many. No, I don't know how many there are, but maybe there's we'll call it 30. Maybe there's 30 different ways. Like wind, somebody blocked it, too hard, too soft, hit it off the rim, not enough arc, too much arc. There's all the things. Didn't have consistency, right? Form, your elbows shooting out like this when it needs to be underneath. When you finish at the top, oh gosh, you can't see it. When you finish at the top, you need to finish like this, where your hands in the cookie jar, not like this, or like this, or like this. It needs to be straight up where your middle finger is pointed right to where you want that ball to go. Boom, right where you want that to go. There's those solutions that you can do. And if it doesn't do the things in the proper order, then it's probably not going to make it, right? Sometimes it will from luck, but not all the time. So when you miss, there's always a solution. There's always a reason why you missed a shot. It's not because of any other reason that you can't figure out. okay? And sometimes it's out of your control, like the wind, the double rim, right? Sometimes it's in your control without the E. Like you didn't finish properly, you had your elbow too low, you didn't arc it, it didn't go high enough, or it went way too high, or you shot it too hard or too soft, or on the you banked it off the backboard and missed it. Okay, sometimes it's in your control why you miss. By the way, whether you miss it or where you make it, you have your answer, right? When you make the shot too, when the ball goes in, you could have some funky form, right? And if you saw that you made it but you had funky form, you can still correct the funky form. So even if like my elbows flared out, because this is how I used to shoot for reals. I got a basketball here. I should have grabbed one before the training. But I used to shoot like this, right here, because for whatever reason I'd get more power this way before I had muscle and stuff. So maybe because I could use more of my chest or something to push it. I don't know. But I would make it this way, but I was really inconsistent because my arm's out here. I got to hold it in the proper position each time. If it's here and then it's here, it changes the way that my arm finishes. See that? So it'd have to be so. But when I had it under here each time, my hand is here, I would finish it and it would be the same every time. So I had less things to control. Anyways, so even sometimes when you make it, you could be like, I made it, but my elbow flared out. Look at this. And this is me, not to put me back in Chris's shoes at 7, but let me put you in Chris's shoes at 16. When I was playing volleyball, I would videotape myself doing my approach. I'd throw the ball up, do my jump, my swing, and if I could see that I could still hit the ball, but I slid my foot wrong, or I stepped too far to the side, or I jumped too early, or I jumped too late, I would be able to see it and correct it, even if I did it correctly. Okay? So there's always an answer. Good, bad, nailed it, could be better, could be worse, blah, blah, blah. So for us in here, just out of curiosity, if you come back to Chris, I want you to be here with me. Okay? Chris at 7. Okay, I'm all of like 4 foot something, like down here probably. I was always a short kid. So I'm all down here, okay, short little dude. Playing basketball, trying his hardest, play soccer, all the things. Who would get mad if a sudden gust of wind, snow, lightning struck the ball, Mutombo swatted the ball out of nowhere if you missed it? Mutombo's that guy who was in the course going, no, that's Mutombo. Who would get mad here if they saw that, if that happened? Who would get mad? Raise your hand if you'd get upset. Like, oh my gosh, it's out of my control. I cannot believe I missed the shot because of something out of my control. The answer should be nobody, right? If you guys comment, stop it, okay? Nobody should be upset over that because it's out of your control. You can look at it and say, hey, out of my control, keep it moving, right? Because why sit on it? It's one shot of 2,560. Like, who gives a rip? If it's one out of that, I got 2,559 that are probably in my control. If I miss out, great. I have 2,558 in my control. Awesome. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. Okay? Who would get upset if they switched it? If they absolutely went the second most beautiful, maybe third most beautiful sound. I'll let you guys guess what the first and second one is. Maybe fourth. Most beautiful sound in the world. I give you a hint. One of them is the checkout thing at Disneyland when you get your pass. It goes. That's one of them up there. Okay, but swish, boom! It's such a beautiful noise. Just, if you guys ever play basketball, and you hear that, you're like, oh my gosh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I'm not even sharing my screen. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Here we are. So no from Mutombo. Okay. So who would get upset if they switched it? Hopefully nobody, because it's amazing switching it. And you got form right. You go, whoosh, and you're like, oh yeah, crushed it, nailed the shot, perfect. Who would get mad if they missed it? They identified exactly why they missed it and could work on correcting it directly after. Who would get upset at that? Who would get upset at that? Probably nobody, right? I hope nobody. Because if you shoot it and you're like, oh, I know why I missed it. I freaking didn't jump high enough. Or, oh, I know I missed it. My arm shot before my legs were done. Oh, my elbow's way out to the side. too hard, too soft. It's very simple. And you might get frustrated. You might be like, man, I keep missing it. But you could work on correcting it directly afterwards. So you stay in the same spot. Like this is free throws. When you practice free throws, you don't practice one. You practice hundreds of free throws. You do your routine. You do 3 bounces, grab the ball, swish. Nice. Grab the ball, 3 bounces, grab it, miss. Elbow. Okay. I'll get the ball again. Swish. Elbow is nice and tight. Nice. Okay, you get to work on it. You get repetition. You get better. Because even the best basketball players, LeBron James, 51% career shooting average, meaning he barely made more than he missed his entire career. And he's now has the second highest points ever behind my boy, Karl Malone, the Millman. He just did that this past weekend. Second most ever. Amazing. Okay? Because if you do this, you can directly see why you missed it. And if you can see why you missed it and you could work on it, you should not get mad. Right? Shouldn't. I wouldn't. Because in this picture, if this was 7-year-old Chris shooting, if you didn't know anything about basketball, what would you say? Okay, hand placement looks good. Got a little bit of light underneath there, which you should. This hand's on the side like bread, like that. Elbow's a little bit flared, but look at that elbow. Oh, you can't see the dang thing again. Sorry. Gosh. Okay. Look at hand. You got to have a pocket of air underneath there. You can't have it flat. You got to have a little pocket. You should be able to see a little bit of daylight. And you can, look at a little bit of daylight. Hand here is like bread. Should be like this. Boom. On the side. Not like this. Not on the front because you're blocking yourself. Right on the side. Perfect. But look at his elbows. They're like this. Inconsistent because they're all over. You got all this wiggle. You got to try to hit this. You got to try to hit the same exact spot each time. Some people can. There's a dude named Sean Marion. If you guys watch the Suns, he played for the Suns for a little bit. He played for a couple other teams, but he shot like this all the time. And he would drain it. He would do great. He was the one. Not many. There's like hardly anybody who was a crappy shot but him. But he practiced it forever, and he got really good. It was the ugliest thing. If you want to look up Sean Marion shot, you'll be like, that looks gross. Because it is gross. It looks terrible. But he did it. But watch, if this is me, I could be like, elbows. Not where they need to be. Bam. Elbow, right where it needs to be. Hands coming off the ball like bread. His body's this way. The only thing is, that foot's supposed to be in front of the other one. You have the same foot in front as you're shooting, so you don't have a twist. If you have a twist and you shoot, you're going to miss. So the one foot's a little bit off, but other than that, dude, looks perfect. Looks great. Eyes are right where the ball needs to be, right here. He's looking this way, right towards the hoop. Friggin' A, pretty great shot. But look at it, we can even fix the feet. So with all that being said, you can look and adjust and switch. But what's interesting is that it changes for whatever reason when it comes to healthy eating habits and healthy habits just in general. Because here's the crazy thing. If we just change each shot to a day, let's go back. Let's look at all these little things here. All those dots. All of them. You can barely see the dots on there. Barely. Look at it. Barely see the dots. They're so tiny. So tiny. You can barely see them. Look at this. All those dots just made up 7 years of time. That's it. 7 years of time. You're going to live to be like that much-ish. Okay? That's 100. Because all those little dots look like that. Each of these rows here, these are 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Each of these little buckets here are 80 days. Look at how many days there are. So many days, guys. So many days. So many. So many opportunities. The problem lies, though, is that we forget that life is a playground in a school. And you don't lose day one. You don't lose on day 4,838. You don't lose on day 23,028. You don't lose on those days, which, by the way, 23028 is 63 years old. Okay? You don't lose on those days. You lose when you don't learn. You lose when you don't take the lesson. You lose when you forget how to practice gratitude. You lose when you don't progress. If you miss, why? If I didn't plan, if I went into the week not planning my meals, and I'm starving to death, so hungry, and I didn't plan ahead, and I want to fall off, and I do, why did I miss? Well, I didn't plan my meals ahead of time. Sick. Didn't plan them, didn't prepare them. That's why I missed. Can you do anything about it? Yeah, I can. I'm going to plan and prepare my meals today. Because if I keep not doing it, I'm going to continue to feel farther behind. If I feel farther behind, then I'm going to feel like I'm losing. And while you're just sit there, continue to be losing farther behind, you lose when you don't take the lesson. And you know what's interesting about lessons just in general? Let me minimize this so I can look at you. What's interesting about lessons is that it starts in a whisper. It says, hey, plan, you should plan meals. You should plan meals. Because then if you do plan them, then you know what you're eating. And then if you know what you're eating, then you know that what you're eating is hitting your targets. And then you don't do it. And you're like, hey, do you remember last week when I said you should plan your meals? Yeah, you should do that. You should do that today. That'd be good. That'd be a good thing to do so that you don't feel behind anymore. Because you don't feel behind, that leaks into other areas. Because you're behind here, you're going to feel like you need to catch up everywhere else. And by putting all your energy into one bucket somewhere else, you're probably going to make everywhere else fall behind. So what you need to do is just plan ahead today. Just plan ahead already. Get it done. And then it doesn't happen again. You're like, hey, listen, dude, I'm going to start getting real angry. My body is. By you continuing to feed me this garbage if you don't plan ahead. So plan your meals ahead and prepare them. And eventually these sort of whispers start to get more demanding and more mean. Not for me. This is not me saying these things. Not me. This is you inside of you saying these things. If we don't take the lesson. And what can this look like? Well, I have a really unfortunate reality in my family. Really unfortunate. And I have family members in here, so I'd say this to his face too. So just so we're clear. I have a cousin who has, I believe it's 3 DUIs, 3 or 5, I forget. We'll say it's 3, just so if I'm wrong. 3 DUIs. He's now 38 and in liver failure. He's 38. Sclerosis of the liver. You can't live without a liver. And they're not going to give somebody a liver if they continue to harm their body. And he still drinks as far as I know. So option 1 was, hey, so-and-so, you should probably stop drinking. This is before even the DUI. You should probably stop. Like, you probably should stop doing that. It's really not make my body feel good. Then it was like, hey, another lesson. Hey, man, it doesn't feel great. Can you please stop? Can you please stop doing this? Then number 2 is, hey, then number 3 is, hey, stop it. Seriously, like, you're driving around and you're drinking. You can really hurt somebody. Then the 4th time was like, hey, we're going to get you a DUI then because you're not listening and paying attention. All right, get it, DUI, blah. Then you do it again. Okay, DUI number 2 is coming. Okay, DUI number 3 is coming. Okay, so-and-so in your family, close to you, passed from complications that were started with alcohol. You should probably stop it now because we're trying to help you. We're trying to give you a lesson here. And you continue to not listen. So please, for all that we have, pay attention. I'm trying to help you. Then the fourth was like, all right, you're not listening. So maybe sclerosis of the liver and a time frame of 12 months to live will hopefully make you stop. I don't know if it will or not. Hopefully it does, though. And that's the truth. It started off with little whispers. And then it grew and grew and grew and grew. Because so-and-so did not take the lesson. So I don't know what that lesson looks like for you in some areas. Maybe not in your health and fitness, planning and preparing and all these things. Fitness. Yeah, there's some lessons there. Maybe in, I don't know, your nutrition. That'd be a big one in your nutrition. Maybe in your steps, maybe in planning and preparing, maybe in relationship with your spouse, saying that you maybe not getting compliments or diving into that relationship so much. I don't know what it is, but there's some lessons that need to be learned. And then when you learn the lesson or have the lessons, have gratitude. Oh my gosh, all the bad things that have happened in my life, I am so grateful that they did happen. So grateful. Like, the unfortunate reality is the reason that I'm grateful, not that I don't have a dad that has passed away when I was 7. I'm grateful for the lessons that taught me. If I could have it back today, would I? Absolutely. I would love to. Love to hang out. Love to hang out. I think it'd be so fun. I think that'd be great. I'd be very, very blessed for that. But I'm so grateful for the lessons, for the abilities that I have, for my family, for how I act. And if I know that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have been this person. I know I wouldn't have. So I'm grateful for that. And I know one day that I'll be able to see him again. I'm so very grateful for that too. Okay? But if we don't practice gratefulness, we're screwed. If we don't have progress too, if we're stuck in the same shit over and over and over again, man, that's when you lose. You're stalled. You've got a rope tied to nothing that you can't pull. And it's because you're not pulling it. Man, got to progress. I would hate my life if I always stayed the same. If somebody saw me in high school to now and they're like, oh, same old Chris, I would be devastated. I'm not the same person I was last month, let alone 10 years ago, so 12 years ago. Not even close. And so when you miss, why? Can you do anything about it? If you can, do something. Commit to it. If so, what is it? If not, if it's something you can't control, why bother? Why bother? Why let it weigh on you if you cannot control it? If I'm shooting hoops and a wind gusts my ball out the way when I'm trying to hit a shot, I'm not going to get bothered. I can't control the wind, So things you can't control, don't let it pull you. Things you can control, find a lesson, find something from it, and pull it, and watch what happens. Dudes, I'm going to give this to you for free. Everyone's heard of a downward spiral. When you go from one bad thing to the next bad thing to the next bad thing to the next bad thing. It's like you woke up late, you spilled your coffee on your clothes, you got to work late, or you left the house on time, but then hit traffic. You were 5 minutes late to a meeting that you were presenting in, and you left USB drive at home right next to, I don't know, something. And you're like, son of a bee, like all these things pulled me down. There's something called an upward spiral too. Upward spiral. It's when bad things become good things. Thank God I woke up late. Because why I woke up late? Because there was a traffic jam outside that accident was supposed to be mine. That wrong way driver, that person wasn't paying attention, was going to hit me. Thank God I woke up late. And you know what? Thank God I left my USB drive at home, because I've already practiced it like 20, 30 times. If I don't have to look at a presentation and just do the presentation without looking, that's going to make my boss even like me more. I'm like, man, this guy's really, really determined and really passionate about what he does. He doesn't even need the presentation like everybody else does. Let me give this guy a freaking raise. Boom. Upward spiral. Today I had a conversation with somebody. Knew wasn't a fit right out the gate. Right out the gate. She's in the group now. So this is not, like what we're doing right now is not going to fit you. It's not what you need. It's not, quite frankly, it's not what she needs right now at all. Not even a little bit. But what she does need, she's coming to her kettlebell certification, or kettlebell course, hopefully. And she's getting in for free, so I don't know if she shows up or not. Hopefully she does. It'd be really cool. And I'm also going to tag her in the workout scene, because that's what she needs right now until the time's right. Who cares, dude? Who freaking cares? It's going to help her. It's going to help me. It's going to help her. Oh my gosh, it's win, 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 win for everybody. I get to serve my passion. She gets something to get started on until the time's right. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Don't lose sleep over that stuff. So with all that being said, okay, stop playing the game like it's if I miss today, I lose. You don't. You lose when you do not progress, when you do not learn, you don't find the lesson, and you don't practice gratitude. That's how you lose. You do those 4 things, promise you're going to win at whatever you do. Whatever. Fitness, nutrition, relationship, religion, kids, finances, business, whatever. You will win because those are the pillars of success. You do those things, you will always win. You don't do those things, have fun learning lessons until you do. So with that being said, what I want from you guys is to write your one big takeaway from today. One big takeaway. Put that down in the comments below so I know you're here with me and I know you're listening. This upcoming Saturday, no workouts again. I'm not going to work out until the following Monday for myself. So I will not be doing workouts then. Our next workout is planned for April 9th. April 9th. Cool? That's all I got for you. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.